The following opinions are solely those of BoatTEST.com and its test captain.
Hi, Captain Steve for BoatTEST.com, and today we're doing a performance and operations evaluation on the new GT59 convertible from Hatteras Yachts. Hatteras built this yacht to fill a hole in their sport fishing lineup between 54 feet and 63-foot models. It's not a stretch of the earlier model, but its own unique design. Our test boat is hull number 1, and since she's a brand new design and her designers had a chance to view everything on the market and improve on them, it's not surprising that she's such a compelling boat in her class. Let's take a look at the Hatteras GT59's distinguishing features. There aren't many convertibles built these days in a league with the Hatteras GT59, but when we compare the boat to the few that are, we see some important distinguishing features. Here are the major ones. First of all, beam. At 18 feet 9 inches, the Hatteras GT59 is a full foot beamier than its competition. This makes the boat larger all over and more stable. At 1,750 gallons, the GT59 carries about 200 gallons more fuel than other boats her size. The Hatteras draws just 4 feet 9 inches due to her greater beam and her prop tunnels, an important consideration when traveling in the Bahamas or docking in front of an owner's waterfront house. The new Hatteras GT59 weighs about 84,000 pounds dry, just slightly more than others on the market, which is largely due to her solid fiberglass bottom. Hatteras has chosen hull integrity over lightweight, and heavier boats usually ride better. That solid glass bottom is far more puncture resistant than cord hulls, which have two relatively thin laminates separated by either PVC foam or end-grain balsa core. The GT59's hull is resin infused, which means that the glass materials are layered in the hull, it's vacuum bagged, and the resin is infused to give an ideal ratio of glass to resin on the order of 60-40 for maximum strength and minimum weight. All Hatteras hulls are painted and have been for decades. The reason is that gel coat oxidizes quickly and the tropical sun is brutal. Painted hulls hold their new-looking gloss for 10 years or more and don't have to be compounded and waxed a couple of times a year to stay looking good. And the Hatteras GT59 offers 3 staterooms, all with their own ensuite head with separate walk-in showers, something that we rarely see in this size boat. This is a welcome layout when cruising with family and friends. Now, let's start our inspection of the GT59's operational aspects in the business end, the cockpit. The GT59 has an 8x14 cockpit with teak decking, mezzanine seating, and an elegant mahogany rocket launcher. The coach roof extends 5 feet 2 inches from the back of the cabin over the mezzanine seating, and it has 6 feet 9 inches of clearance from the deck in front of the seats. Under the flybridge ladder is a tackle box with a grill on top. Below is a cover for a shore cord connection. There's another shore cord locker on the port side that also has a freshwater washdown. The 13-inch cap rail contains 2 rod holders on each side and a fish box in the stern. The cockpit depth is 29 inches forward and 21 inches aft. Hawse holes in the transom lead out from 15-inch cleats. Also through the transom is a wide door that opens outward. To access the flying bridge from the cockpit, there's a 6-step ladder on the starboard side. The ladder has courtesy lighting built into each step, and it's aligned to thwart chips for safety. The flybridge has a clean look, with many of the instruments purposely hidden away when not in use. 3/4 of the flybridge is enclosed with isinglass for protection from the elements, but also so that the flybridge can be air-conditioned. In front of the helm console is a double lounger. When we remove the seat back cushions and open the panel, we have access inside the helm console to the electronics. Note the insulated AC ducts. Below the cushions is a huge insulated freezer with gas assist struts. Up front, we have access to the space under the flybridge cowling, where isinglass, cushions, and other things can be stored to keep them out of the weather. On each side, there are bench seats with storage under, and opposite, here are white powdered coated grab handles when sitting or for moving forward. Forward on each side is a large cabinet for stuff like this 5-gallon bucket, and there's a freshwater washdown bib. The compass is mounted all the way forward on the flying bridge. I'd prefer to see it mounted on the helm console so it can be read by the nearsighted. The helm is designed to have the same clean, smooth look as the overall boat. On either side of the wheel are hinged cubbies with gas shocks that open to reveal instruments and controls typically needed for docking or maneuvering. A spotlight control, trim tabs, bow thruster, engine controls, electronic steering, and the Seakeeper gyro stabilizer control. These can be left closed most of the time while underway. In keeping with the clean look, the stainless steel wheel is mounted horizontally on a high-gloss finished Palm Beach design with walnut base flanked by the engine throttle and shift levers. On the instrument panel, we have 2 17-inch displays flanking a 22-inch display. The right side panel contains electrical accessory switches, the horn, an analog fuel gauge, and the alarm system control. Above the helm, a drop-down instrument panel reveals a Furuno depth sounder, the CAT engine display, a Garmin autopilot, and twin VHF radios. All instruments can be placed anywhere the owner wants, and in this case, we would move all of these functions to the enclosed compartments on the dash, or move the ones there that are not often needed to the electronics box overhead. The twin helm seats are made by Pomponette and are mounted on solid stainless steel pedestals. The leather-covered ladderback chairs are trimmed in teak, same as the wood base under the wheel. The backs are removable for clear sight lines when fighting a fish. The hideaway theme continues in the flybridge overhead, where another panel opens to reveal two fixed electric teaser reels for the outriggers. Close the panel and equipment is instantly stowed. Behind the helm chairs is a short platform for viewing the aft deck action below. It's surrounded by a double-piped rail with 8 built-in rocket launcher pole holders. There's a 1-inch tow rail to prevent slipping off. Above the flying bridge is a tuna tower with an auxiliary helm. Note how the upper tower piping has been painted black to reduce glare. There's a hardtop overhead. The tower helm is simple and clean-looking with a 12-inch wheel. The engine controls on the right and a Garmin screen to the left of the wheel. Below the wheel to either side is glove box style storage. I'd like to see something to keep the covers from flopping down. The tower helm has a padded bolster surrounding, and it's quite a sight up here. The Seakeeper gyro stabilizer will be a welcome addition when steering in any kind of sea up here. The wide side decks lead to the bow, and there's no life rail outboard. However, a grab rail is recessed into the cabin house structure. A large Danforth style anchor hangs inside the forward hatch with the freshwater washdown hose. There are 15-inch cleats to either side of the bow, leading to stainless steel chocks and chafing gear on the outside of the tow rail. This boat does not have safety rails on the bow or side decks, in keeping with the cool and macho conventions of big game tournament traditions. Her bow has the famous Carolina flare that keeps the boat dry and provides buoyancy in nasty conditions offshore. Now let's cast off the lines and get underway. We have to back down a narrow inlet, simply using the engines to steer in order to get to a spot where we can turn around. We're on slow idle as we transit the narrow inlet, and I occasionally dropped her out of gear to control our speed. Alternatively, I could have just used the trolling function on the CAT control panel. The GT59 has a length overall of 59 feet 9 inches, a beam of 18 feet 9 inches, and a draft of 4 feet 9 inches. With an empty weight of 84,000 pounds, full fuel and water, and 4 people on board, we had an estimated test weight of 98,000 pounds. Once at our inlet's day mark, with open water ahead, it was time to push the CAT diesels and let her run. We discovered that she's very responsive to the throttles, coming on plane in an average 8.5 seconds and getting to 20 miles per hour in 12.6 seconds. With twin CAT C32A 1900 horsepower diesel engines turning straight shaft props, our GT59 reached a top speed of 40 knots at 2250 RPM. At 80% load, we were running at 2000 RPM and 33.9 knots. That speed produced a 164 gallon per hour fuel burn that translated into 0.2 nautical miles per gallon and a range of 325.3 nautical miles, all while still holding back a 10% reserve of the boat's 1750 gallon total fuel capacity. When crews delivering the boat are on a long-distance pleasure cruise, perhaps the best displacement speed is 11.4 knots at 1000 RPM and a range of 545 nautical miles, still with that 10% reserve. At that speed, the boat has an endurance of 47 hours. When I push the throttles forward and the turbos kicked in, she really gets up and goes. I would say the combination of horsepower, bottom shape, and tunnels give this boat surprising acceleration. The GT59 has a wide turning radius. At 2000 RPM, which is about the 80% load, she has about 6 boat lengths turning radius and turns 180 degrees in 34 seconds. This suggests that the rudders are not very large because she takes a long time to turn. However, she's made for distance, straight, long, and far. Large rudders just add significant drag, and since the rudders aren't used when docking, small ones make little difference. We had calm conditions for our test, which is unfortunate. Even when another sportfish was going by, we cut through the wake. You could barely feel it from up here in the flying bridge. Backing down on big game fish has to be done carefully and with precision to keep the transom facing the fish and the line taut. We not only had excellent control authority when backing down, but exacting directional control as well. Coming back in, we threaded our way back up the inlet. With the bow thruster, we easily laid her alongside. Engine room access is via the cockpit below the mezzanine seating. I found it easier to back in down the 3-step ladder because of the 5'2" headroom between the engines. In front of the engines, the headroom drops to 4 feet 9 inches, and there's still enough space to get outboard of the engines for checks. All the fluid checkpoints are on the inboard sides of the Cat C32s. On the forward bulkhead is the battery management system. Just above, a camera is installed on the overhead. To port and starboard are all the electrical control devices, kept forward where it's dry. This boat has a Dometic water maker up forward and to starboard. On the port side outboard are the 3 Dometic AC condensers. Our test Hatteras GT59 was powered by the twin Cat C32A 12-cylinder engines developing 1900 horsepower each. Lower horsepower engines are available. An important advantage of the Cat engines is their large number of service facilities throughout the US and worldwide. The engines were equipped with dual Raycor fuel filters and water separators, plus twin Cat filters. The engine's raw water pickup is in front of the engines and the ball valve is easy to reach. Note the green bonding wire and copper strip on the stringer that's fully bonding this vessel.
The engine mounts have 4 bolts each into the adapter plate that has 2 bolts drilled and tapped into the steel plates embedded into the stringer laminate.
Here we see 4 stainless steel supports holding the exhaust, which is critically important, and all are connected to the engine or the transmission as they should be. Our test boat had twin Cummins Onan 21.5 kW generators behind the engines. Forward of them we can see the twin disc transmission. Below that is the drive shafts, which is at a shallow 6-degree down angle, one of the reasons that the boat has such good performance. Overall, the GT59 is an impressive boat and one that is sure to turn heads as you pull into any marina or even if you're offshore. She's also comfortable to be on board, but that's another video, be sure to look for it. For now, that's our inspection and performance evaluation of the Hatteras GT59. For BoatTEST.com, I'm Captain Steve. We'll see you on the water.